Hi, you're listening to The Island of a Lost Pilot by Rajesh Bhatia, narrated by Deepak Agnihotri. Chapter 3 The Training. All appeared in the dining room at about 8:20 p.m. Having bathed, shaved, and changed, they were looking fresh. Now, they only wanted a nice dinner and a good night's sleep. There was a kitchen on one end, as wide as the room, with a separate entrance. The dinner was a buffet arrangement. Some dishes were arranged in bowls on the serving shelf of the kitchen, which was about 8 feet long, with eating plates on one corner. The room had tables and chairs arranged for about 30 people to sit and have their food. About 15 persons were already there. They lifted plates and started filling them. There was rice, 2 seasonal vegetables, dal, salad and chapatis. One cook and 2 attendants were busy filling the bowls. After filling their plates with different food items, they occupied a table and found Girish, who entered the door in nightdress, nodded, smiled, also filled his plate and came to join them, pulling a chair with the other hand. They were washing their hands when Thomas appeared. "We are going out for a stroll. If you want to join, we will wait," Girish asked him. "Go ahead, I won't be coming. Got to do some work before going to sleep." They passed a guard different from the one who was in the day shift, who looked curiously at the new faces. They came out of the gate on the service road, turned left, and looked at the building. At this time, the building was well illuminated with bright lights. There were 2 large signboards. One was on the boundary wall and the other on the top of the building. Both were box type, well illuminated with inside white lights, covered with white plastic sheet, and Frontline Aviation written on it in very big green letters along with the logo. There were lights in the ground on both sides of the runway. The empty field and the jungle beyond the field was all darkness and gave an eerie look. But the breeze was pleasant, cold, moist, and filled with the scent of the distant vegetation and flowers. They walked for 5 minutes and reached the Plaridel village. Like India, here also the villagers had converted a portion of their home into a small shop. The village was enveloped in silence and only a few shops were open. It appeared that Gabbar Singh had invaded the village only a few hours back. The street lights were scarce and very dim. Somewhere a dog barked and 3 or 4 answered the bark. It was clear that the villagers usually slept very early. They traversed further and reached the small river called Angat River. The water was dark and there were thick plantation on the banks and also at small islands inside the river also. The slight smell of rotten water reached their nostrils when Abhinav yawned and they all decided to return and sleep. Their first night in this country. There are 5 flying schools in Plaridel, which are functional. 2 more are about to start soon. Girish was explaining to Sonu, Abhinav, Rohan and Thakur as they were now entering the adjoining building through a small inside entrance, which was at the end of the corridor behind the reception desk. The time was 9:30 a.m. and they have had their breakfast and had decided to look at the hangar and the workshop. They were at once at a different place. On the top was a very huge curved roof made of corrugated iron sheets with some transparent glass fiber sheets fitted in between to enable sunlight to illuminate the premises, which had all the planes and the helicopters kept in L-type arrangement. The floor was very neat and painted grey. Yellow markings were on the floor to indicate the walkway. All the planes were at their proper place, the respective place being marked by a small board on which the plane number was printed. A few persons wearing green overalls were busy moving here and there. A green tractor, which was used to pull the planes, was parked at its allotted place. Everything about the place was very systematic. The Frontline Aviation was an ISO certified unit and it showed all over. On one end there was the design department and the workshop. All looked curiously at the parked planes, which smiled gracefully at them. Even the helicopters seemed smiling. They turned towards the workshop and found a stern-looking Filipino explaining something to a group of 3 workmen. Some component, obviously belonging to an aircraft, was placed on a 4 by 3 foot black granite surface plate, and all the 4 were frowning intently at an A3 size drawing spread on the table. "Yes, what is it?" asked the man, looking surprisingly at the night dress clad Indians. "Sir, these are new trainees. Just arrived yesterday. Wanted to have a look around." Girish was uneasy. Rest of the boys were surprised to find him stammering. "You should have taken the permission. I would have arranged for someone from the staff to accompany and explain to you. Anyway, as you have come here, just wait for some time and I will do something." All continued their frowning. The head Filipino took a digital micrometer and measured some dimension and said, "If it is not fitting, reduce the diameter by 30 microns, no more. Make the diameter 29.96 mm. Try the fitting and show the assembly to me." The workshop was equipped with state-of-the-art tool room machinery. There were 2 Weiler lathes, 2 Micron milling machines, 1 Jacobson surface grinder, and 1 Charmile spark erosion machine at one end. On the other end were cabins which had 1 Haas vertical machining center, 1 Fanuc wire cut machine, and 1 CNC turning center. One cabin was the designing center. These machines seemed unfamiliar to other boys, but Rohan was able to recognize them, as some similar machines like these were in his father's workshop. "Why are you so scared? Have you never stammered before?" Sonu was asking. "Oh, this is Mr. Steve, partner in the flying school and also the chief mechanic here. He is the backbone of this school. He repairs, overhauls and maintains all the planes here and gives them the airworthiness certificate. He is the best aircraft engineer around. He is known for his strict discipline and bad temper." "I thought that being a Sunday he would not be around," Girish whispered. "Boys, come here," Steve called, and all were around him, now with utmost respect for him. "See, this place you are standing is the tool room, where we make some damaged part not available outside. All these machines outside are the basic machines, and machines inside are computer controlled. We make computer model of the component in the design department on NX software and machine on computerized machines. Some parts we make on simple machines. We overhaul and assemble the engine in the assembly room. We have a paint shop. Come on and I will show you." They entered the assembly room. One engine was kept dismantled on one large steel table. On another table, the landing gear of some multi-engine plane was kept. There was no one in that room. The paint shop was also shown. The body of one plane was being painted. The smell of paint and thinner was intense in the air. There was one small petrol pump on one corner. Rohan looked around and found one fire extinguisher every 15 feet and seemed satisfied. Steve showed them the planes and explained every question asked. His face had that same stern look. He had not smiled even once, and this scared the trainees who had not known him. The boys thanked Mr. Steve and reached back to their rooms. In the evening, they had decided to go towards the control tower. Rohan was to find one gym. "May we come in?" asked Girish. Rest 4 newcomers were behind him. "Yes, sure. And what do you want?" replied the handsome Filipino, who was apparently the air traffic controller and was sitting on a chair surrounded by many controls and mics. "We are aspiring pilots and want to have a look around this control tower." "Oh, come inside and have a seat." As there were 4 chairs, Rohan kept on standing while the others sat. "Sorry friend, one chair short," said George. the Filipino looking towards Rohan, who looked powerful in his blue t-shirt, and added, "Nice biceps. I'm sure you have worked very hard on them." Rohan blushed, thanked, and asked him if he could tell about some gym nearby so that he could continue his exercises. "Well, there is one gym nearby with good equipments, owned by Jacob, but that has been closed, as only a few men used to go there. I am also in search of one gym. I will try to find one good one and let you know." "Can't we pursue him to open it again?" asked Rohan. "I doubt, as Jacob does not have a trainer," replied George. "I don't need one. Rather, I can instruct about the exercise and the diet schedules." "Wow, then there should not be any problem. Wait for some time. Mr. Steve is testing one plane. Let the plane land and this place will be closed. I will take you to Jacob's gym." George looked outside the glass walls, put on the headphones and gave some instructions. After some time, there was the sound of an aircraft engine and a Seneca twin-engine plane landed there. George switched off the control buttons, locked the doors, and all came down the 50-foot-tall tower. After about 10 minutes of walk, they reached the Jacob's gym, who, being a very good-natured man, agreed to open the gym again if Rohan promised him the coaching. He was immensely impressed by Rohan's physique and personality. Rohan promised to spend 2 hours in the evening after the classes, and during that time he would have his exercise and help others also. He also promised to bring more and more friends from his flight school. Abhinav, Sonu, Thakur and Girish were all ready to join the gym and have Rohan-like body. Thomas should also join them. Soon Rohan was the role model. His personality was helping him everywhere. He was very happy. Today, he had found the gym and made 2 new friends. They reached back at 7:30 p.m. and all entered inside. Rohan stayed back and made calls to India, reports to everyone and regarding everything. Sharp at 9:15 a.m., all assembled near the reception, wearing their new uniforms, black trousers and white shirts. Today, the receptionist was sitting behind the reception desk, busy in some phone call and taking some notes. 2 girls and 6 more young men were already there in similar uniforms, their batchmates. Sam appeared, accompanied with 2 Filipinos in pilots' uniforms, apparently brothers, the elder one about 40 and the other about 3 years younger. The elder brother spoke, "Dear friends, my name is Austin and this is my younger brother Thompson, and we both are Airbus pilots in Philippines Airlines. We, along with our chief mechanic Mr. Steve, have founded this flight school in 1999 with only 3 aircraft. Now we have a fleet of 16 airplanes and 2 helicopters. We have 8 Cessna 152 and 4 Cessna 172 single-engine aircraft. There are 2 Piper Seneca PA-34 and 1 Beechcraft Baron 55 twin-engine planes. Besides these, there is 1 Bell 206 and 1 Gazelle helicopter each. Mr. Steve is a certified aircraft engineer and maintains all these aircraft. We have 8 experienced pilots to train you people. Besides, we have 7 qualified ground training instructors." He paused, looked into the eyes of everyone, smiled as he found everyone very attentive, and continued, "Our flight school is considered to be one of the best in Philippines. The training is of international level and we produce good pilots. I hope that you will enjoy your training and stay in frontline aviation. Mr. Spike is a pilot and instructor and will take you to your classroom. In case of any kind of a problem or help, you are always welcome to contact us. Our all good wishes are for you. Good luck and God bless you all." Mr. Spike beckoned them to move behind him towards the corridor behind the reception. On their right were 4 administration rooms. Clerks were busy on computers, telephones and on registers, busy in finding who has not paid the fees and replying to the queries of new entries Although there were 84 students, already a large number to handle. They turned left and found 6 large rooms in a line, marked as classroom number 1, 2, and up to 6. Room number 1 was occupied with students. There was no instructor, and apparently they were waiting for him to come, ready to start the class. Room number 2 was also occupied, and here the instructor was there, busy in taking the attendance. Mr. Spike guided them to room number 3. It was also large and spacious like the other rooms. Each room could accommodate 24 students, as there were 3 rows, and every row comprised of 8 tables. One straight, bagged office chair was behind every table. All 12 took their seats. There was one large whiteboard on the center of the wall and one similar chair and table for the teacher in one corner. The desktop computer was on the table. In the other corner, there was one 42 inches LCD screen and one steel almirah. Mr. Spike unlocked the almirah and took out some registers and files. He called Thakur and Girish as they were in the first row and asked them to take out some black-colored leather bags from the almirah and handed over each bag to every one of them. "Students, these bags are your personal property now. Each bag is the study kit, and you will find notes and study material for every related subject. You can write your name on the books and on the bags too." The bags were made of soft leather like laptop cases. Rohan opened the zip and took out the books. Metrology, navigation, aircraft manuals and others. He took out a pen and started to write his name on the books and notes. He also wrote his name on a card and slipped it inside the transparent plastic window provided on the bag. Those who have not brought the logbooks and flight calculators can make the payment and have them from the administration department, room number 2. We have a library on the first floor where you can find more books on these topics, on the history of the airplanes, catalogs and literature of all type of aircraft, stories and novels like Beagles on aviation. Spike paused, looked around and asked, "Anybody knows about Beagles?" Nobody was aware, but Rohan stood and replied, "Sir, a Beagle is the nickname for Beaglesworth, a pilot by profession. He is the hero of many famous adventure stories on aviation, starting from World War I, written by Captain W.E. Jones. I have read a lot of Beagle's books as they were available in the library of St. Francis de Sales School, Delhi, my school." "Very good." Spike was full of admiration for Rohan. "Besides, there are 4 computers in the library where you can watch everything about the planes, of course, already kept stored in the computer's memory. We have flight simulators in 5 rooms on first floor where you can practice and be perfect before flying a real plane. On the second floor, we have one small auditorium and 2 recreation rooms." Spike sighed and continued, "All of you must have noticed the playground in between the hostel wing and the classrooms wing. We have everything for your education, training and entertainment." Spike was strolling in the front and in between the tables while he spoke. He was of a medium height, a standard Filipino height, about 35 years of age, intelligent and clear in his speech. He was a brilliant student and was a fighter pilot in 15th Strike Wing in Philippines Air Force. He had resigned from his job after a narrow escape from death, when he ejected himself out of his Ermaki SF-260 plane while performing aerobatics in an air show, when his machine crashed due to some engine fault. He was in front line for the last 5 years and was loved and respected by his employers, colleagues and students. Everybody will proceed to the hostel, keep their study kits safely logged in their respective lockers, and be there in the parking at 11:30, where we will proceed to Manila for medical checkups for SPL or student pilot's license registration. All had their lunch at McDonald's at Manila, with the coupons given to them by Sam, and were now proceeding to Air Force Hospital at Manila for the full medical checkup necessary for their further continuation of the training. If anyone failed in this checkup, he or she would be sent back. The medical checks took the whole week. Every day, they would ride the commuter. After 2 hours' journey, reach the hospital, have medical tests, will wander in the malls and reach the hostel in the evening. Everyone passed in their medical tests. Their SPLs were on the way and will reach soon. As, like every country, here also, you can get the work done by offering some extra money or by having proper links, and Frontline had used both means. All the operations should move on smoothly. Old trainees should go on so that new ones may join in. The classes started with effect from Monday, the 4th February 2008. They were given the timetable, according to which they will have theory classes for 2 weeks in which they will study the related subjects. Next 1 week, they will watch how to fly an aircraft videos and spend some time on simulators. In the next week, they will be taken to the airfield, near aircrafts, and complete 10 hours of flight with the instructors. In the 5th week, when the instructor will be satisfied, they will be allowed to fly solo. 4th February 2008. 6 students accompanied Rohan to the Jacob's gym. The whole previous week, they had spent their whole day in Manila for the medical checks and usually reached back late in the evening. They had also rested the whole Sunday and got up lazily, while Thomas woke up them in the evening and had brought idlis and vadas for them. No need to mention that he had cooked them himself. Jacob very happily greeted Rohan. The gym was now open and 4 or 5 boys were already there who looked admiringly at Rohan. Introductions were made. Jacob had already announced the arrival of a new instructor, Rohan. Jacob opened a register and everybody made the entry. Rohan suggested Jacob to note down measurements, height, and weight of everyone who wished to continue the gym in a serious way. Rohan promised to make a categorized schedule and prescribe diet supplements tomorrow evening. "What about my schedule?" a voice said, and George, the flight controller, entered smilingly and hugged Rohan. "Oh, you will get it today and now, if you wish," Rohan flushed. 14th February, Thursday. Today were the theory exams for the whole class. The results were out in the evening. Only 2 got less marks in one subject each. They were to be given another chance tomorrow so that by Saturday they are with the class. The regular training flights were already going on and the old students were busy with it. Today was St. Valentine's Day and Rohan got a nice SMS from Shreya. He called her back and talked for a few minutes. He also spoke to Shekhar and other family members and updated them with the developments. 18th February, Monday. Video lessons and simulator classes started for the new batch today. This was a very interesting part of the training. The simulator training was so nice that it appeared being an aircraft. Soon, everyone was well conversant with the simulators and now they were very eager to go to a real machine. 20th February, Wednesday, 4:30 p.m. Rohan, Abhinav and Sonu were relaxing on the sofa sets on their second-floor lobby with their legs spread and were discussing about the today's simulator practices. Suddenly, there was a commotion outside. They looked at each other and ran out. Some hostlers were also running towards the outer gates. A few people were talking to the guard who was telling about some plane crash of the Delta Flying Club. Rohan, accompanied with friends, rushed towards Delta, which was the next building. A crowd was already gathered there, and then they came to know about the crash. It so happened that one Beechcraft Baron 58, a twin-engine plane of Delta Flying Club, was on routine training practice. One instructor and one trainee pilot were in the pilot's seats, while one person was sitting behind them as a passenger. While trying one wheel wash lesson, They were to touch the waters of the Angat River with the wheels of the aircraft while coming down and to take off in the air again, a usual practice done every day. The wheels had struck some obstacle in the water, or the angle of approach of the aircraft was more. As a result, the plane could not lift out of the river. The backseat passenger could not be saved, while both the pilots were safe. The aircraft was also repairable and will be used again. The person died was an Indian named Shrikant, who was to go back to India in a week or so, as he had completed his training. He had no business to ride the plane. It was only his bad luck or destiny. Soon a van arrived and the body of Shrikant was brought on a stretcher. The commotion changed into silence. Rohan and his friends were very sad, although they had never met Shrikant, but he was from their country, India, their motherland, thus like their brother. The value of brotherhood with your countrymen can be felt only outside your country. While in your country, you might kill someone for a mere $10 or in a road rage. After half an hour, they reached back to the hostel. Nobody had dinner, as it was very difficult to gulp anything down. Rohan's mobile rang and he didn't care. It rang again. Rohan picked it up after many beeps. "What's the matter, Rohan? Where are you? Why were you not picking up the phone? Are you all right?" Shekhar was suddenly very worried. "It's nothing, Dad." Rohan tried to reply in a casual way, but Shekhar was his father, and he felt that there was something wrong. "There is something. You are upset, Rohan. Come on, tell me." "Dad, there was an air crash in one of our neighboring schools, and one Indian who had completed his training has been killed in the crash." Rohan narrated the events to his father, who listened intently and replied, "Look, Rohan, it is all a part of life. Accidents do happen in life. Every day on roads you see them. You learn about numerous deaths around the world while you watch news on a television, and you don't care. Now you are into flying, you are bound to see aircraft mishaps. As you are yourself present here, these things are bound to shatter you. The death of Shrikant is indeed a very sad thing to happen. You must be very careful while doing your flying lessons, and tell this to all your friends also." Shekhar consoled Rohan for some more time and, feeling him relieved, disconnected the phone. Rohan was relieved, but Shekhar was worried. Was it a wrong decision, sending Rohan for a pilot's training? Or was Philippines a wrong place to choose? Shekhar reached home tired and worried. He went to his gym and sat on the bench press bench, still deep in thought, thinking about Shrikant. After some time, he got up and arranged some weights on the rod, but immediately dismissed the thought of exercising. He switched off the lights, locked the gym door, and started descending the stairs. Today, he was not willing to exercise, as Shrikant was on his mind. But without Rohan, he was irregular in his gym habits otherwise also. "What a short exercise!" exclaimed Surekha. "Are you not feeling well?" "Oh, it was a short schedule today." Shekhar hid this matter from Surekha. Such news was not good for her heart. Like Rohan, he was also not able to have his dinner properly. 24th February, Sunday evening. "I feel bored," yawned Rohan, and kept aside the black knight which was taken by his white queen. "The game is almost up. Check and mate." Sonu looked at the board and sunk his head in his chest. "Oi, Sonu, are you sleeping?" called Rohan. "I am rather more bored. Oh, these indoor games don't have any excitement at all." Abhinav stroke on the carom, got one white coin, stroke again, nothing now. He commented, What an excitement were the simulator classes! And what more excitement has to come tomorrow, when we will be in the pilot seat? Girish stroke. Nothing happened. Today was his hard luck, and he was losing again and again. He looked around at his companions with a glint in his eyes, and making a loud noise, disturbed all the carom men with his both hands like a losing naughty child. All laughed, and the game was finished, as if they all wanted some excuse to finish it. They packed the carom coins and the chessmen. I feel hungry. Don't know what this fellow Thomas is cooking today. Any guesses? Thakur looked around. No one knew. Every Sunday, Thomas used to cook something special, and their gang of 6 will sit together and enjoy the food with beer. Only Rohan disliked beer and smoking. Rohan's phone got an SMS. Thakur was calling in the room as dinner was ready. All gathered in their room 211. Chilled beer cans were opened. Today, Thomas had cooked chicken biryani. Rohan took out a Coke can and joined them. Thomas Bhaiya, please don't smoke. The smell of beer is okay, but the smoke of a cigarette kills me. Oh, sorry. Thomas inhaled 2 or 3 deep puffs on his cigarette, squashed it on the ground and said, Tomorrow all of you are going for your first flight. Be careful. Look at the action of the instructor very carefully. Check the readings of all the gauges and understand their meanings. Don't hesitate to ask about any action your instructor makes. The juniors asked many questions and Thomas answered to the best of his ability. Finally, at 11:30 p.m., he said good night and left for his room.